Hey everybody, Swiggles here, and this is my 5,000 subscriber special, Cooking with Swigs. Now, you guys might be wondering, where's the metal music? What's this? Why are you cooking? Well, on Twitter and my Facebook page, I mentioned that I wanted to give back in a unique way, not just, make a medley or something that a lot of people have been able to do, and I wanted to share with you guys an interest of mine while giving back kind of a new skill. So, I decided that I'm going to make a kind of a cooking video for you guys. It's going to be informative, and you guys are going to be able to make a cheap, delicious, and healthy meal by the end of it. I'm going to talk to you guys about what to prepare, what you need, and hopefully I can teach you guys how to not live off of cup noodles. Let's go! Alright, today what we're going to be making is something video game themed. I wanted to keep things kind of game related on the off chance that you guys hate this and I get kicked off of YouTube. So we're going to be making a Elder Scrolls V Skyrim themed dish. And we're going to be making grilled salmon with a side of stir fry. Of course, this might sound a little off-putting to those of you guys who do not eat meat, so unfortunately, you guys get to make the side dish, and maybe in the future I'll make a veggie. Now, for those of you guys who don't like fish, or have never tried fish, this is going to end up tasting very similar to chicken mixed with some spices and some seasonings. So I think you guys might actually be surprised. We're going to be serving for two, so all of you guys who want to impress your gals, all you gals want to impress your guys, pay attention. You're going to want to get a grill pan, although I have a fancier looking one here. Any sort of stove pan should do. And then you're going to want to have some sort of large saucepan as well as a container. The lid is really important because you're going to be cooking with the steam inside. You'll also want to get a pair of tongs. They're very inexpensive and you can use the ones used in salads. You will need a meat of choice, preferably some salmon found by Riverwood. Next, you're going to need some seasonings, such as garlic powder or real garlic. You can use sriracha if you want to be a big boy. And I'm going to use some paprika, along with your basic salt and pepper. You'll also need a bag of stir-fry vegetables. Anything will do, but we're going to try to pick stuff that you'll normally find in Asian cuisine to complement the flavors. Last, you'll need a grill pan and olive oil or vegetable oil, or any sort of butter substitute. If not, you can use butter, but you're defeating the purpose of the help. Once you have your meats prepared, and remember that you do want to keep your workstation clear, you want to make sure that your hands are completely cleaned. Definitely wash them off in between touching anything related to the meat and other parts, especially vegetables. Not only is this kind of a good manner for vegetarians, but you're going to avoid catching any infections or dirtying up your fish. I have my meats prepared on a cutting tray, which is going to let me put all of the seasonings, all the salt and pepper and flavorings just on it. We can rub a little bit around. Now, if you're wondering how do I get this meat out, how do I defrost it without ruining the flavor, what I recommend for the fish packets that I got, and these were like an $8 for like 10 fillet kind of salmon cuts from Food Line, very inexpensive and healthy of course, is you take them out of the plastic container and then you're going to want to sit them in a closed container in the fridge overnight. Then when you pull them out the next morning, they're going to be perfectly defrosted. If you're in a rush, then I recommend covering it in a plastic bag, put it in a Ziploc, put it in some moderately warm water, and you should be good to go. Now I have 3 pieces here because these are particularly small things and I'm going to eat all 3 of these anyway because I'm a boy. But what's going to happen is we're going to season them right now and then we're going to put them on the grill. Now some people call this dry rub, but obviously I'm not going to rub. Now here's this thin layer of salt and pepper. I'm going to change some angles around here so you get the idea that I know what I'm doing when I make cooking videos. And we're just going to try to be generous and at the same time we're trying not to, make the flavor of the fish disgusting. Now, one thing that I do like to do now and then, especially because of how cost effective it is use a little bit of a marinade packet. And what those are a combination of seasonings and spices that you'd normally be too poor or not even be aware of in the store. So I'm going to use just a light amount, and this isn't a traditional style of marinating. This is just what I find works. Feel free to leave in the comments if any of you guys cook. Now, what I've got here is a little gift from my friend Blue Star Mako. This is sriracha chili. It's a Thai chili, and it's not just a condiment or a spicy sort of thing. It's also kind of like a part of the flavor. So I'm just gonna add a thin layer. Just enough to where we get a little bit of a kick. Now obviously once we've prepared the tops of these, we're gonna wanna flip it over, and usually you can just kind of dab and get the bottom side covered up as well. Now, unfortunately, I just freshly defrosted these, so there is going to be a bit of water coming down, which will kind of ruin what I'm going for here. So, now that we've got our salmon kind of prepared and they're flavored, we're gonna move on to the stir fry. Now, while I don't recommend your first time in the kitchen trying to cook two things at once, eventually you're gonna have time crunches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our stir fry, and obviously these are frozen vegetables, and we're just gonna go ahead and put them into our bowl. But as we get it defrosted, well, you'll see. So what you wanna do with your stir fry vegetables is we're going to use in our giant saucepan here, just kind of defrost it inside here. We're gonna use the heat. Now you might wonder what's gonna happen to all of that like ice surrounding the vegetables and stuff. And again, we're college students. We're not going for perfection here. We're going for speed, flavor, and staying healthy. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your stir fry vegetables into this, and once it defrosts, then we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of soy sauce, which I've got right here. And then what we're gonna do is just let that cook around. And because of the speed that it takes for salmon to cook, we're just gonna jump in and throw that into the grill as this gets kind of close. That way we're gonna be done cooking really fast. Once we can kind of feel the heat coming on, I think it's gonna be a good time to use the vegetables. Now obviously we're going to take a little bit of time to defrost. So what I'm gonna do to add to that sort of process here is I'm gonna add maybe a cup of water. I put it on the wrong burner. So what I'm gonna do is cover this a bit so that we can let the steam kind of cook the rest of it. And we're gonna wait just a little bit before it's gonna be able to be played with and cooked with. Now that our steamed vegetables are getting steamy, it's obviously not much of a stir fry right now, but I'm just gonna mix a little bit of all the vegetables around me here. Fortunately, the packet I have isn't too Asian-esque. These are actually closer to the vegetables and flora that you're gonna find in the wilderness of Skyrim. I'm really pushing to make this video game themed, I swear. So, I might have added a little too much water here, but what we're gonna eventually get is something a little drained out, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add a tiny bit of soy sauce. Just enough to where we can get a little bit of flavor going on, a little more salt for something as bland as vegetables. And I'm gonna let this sit and collect a little more steam, evaporate. And lucky for all you guys, we're gonna look at our next step, which is fish. Alright, now we're ready to grill our salmon that we freshly caught from the wilds of Skyrim, because this is video game themed, I swear. And what we're gonna do first is prep the pan. So what we're gonna wanna do is heat it up to, let's say 5.5 on my stove. My stove's a little powerful. And then we're just gonna kind of wait for a second. Make sure that gets heated up. And then what we're gonna do is spread a modest amount of extra virgin olive oil. Just make sure that it's extra virgin. And we're going to coat our pan like this so that we have all of our base is covered in the square. What we really want to do is have an even coat, but we don't want to, splash the whole thing. You don't want to make this oily. You want to make it crispy. You want to have that really nice texture. My face is now in the shot. So what we're going to do is wait until this thing starts getting pretty darn hot. And once it's actually hot, that's when we can create a layer of all of our condiments, our seasonings. They're going to create a thin layer. So we're going to wait for that magic to happen. Now, common, not necessarily safest way to tell if our pan is hot enough is to grab a drop of water and just splash it on. Now you want to hear that sizzle, that's good. That means that we're ready. Now that our salmon is pretty clearly ready to get grizzled, we're going to grab our tongs. We're going to place each side. You would normally do the not skin first, but since we have skinless, we're just going to go for it. I'm going to reduce the heat just a little because I can tell that. Alright, we are cooking. I'm going to master this with, the audio is going to be like sizzling the whole time. Now, most people think that chefs spend most of their time moving around and like adjusting all this. Do not touch your meat. You want that to cook. You want your fish to absorb the flavor, blah, 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 create a thin layer. Don't move it around unless for some reason you put it too far away from the heat. You do want to keep this centered. Now, unlike steaks, you kind of need to make sure that you're cooking this thing completely through, or else whoever you feed it to will die over that. So if we are on the Skyrim theme, this might be a good idea to just take it out right now. Now, what you're going to want to pay attention to isn't necessarily visible. You want to look on the sides and see this white line. That's your cooked fish meat, and what you want to have happen is most of the layer turn white, and then we're gonna flip over, and then we can quickly cast on the sides if you like, be fancy, whatever. Cooking is art, all that stuff. But what's most important is that we have it cook all the way through. Now, a lot of people don't like fishy taste. Fishy taste comes if you don't cook it all the way through. So if you want it blackened, like many people prefer blackened catfish. And see, I'm already moving it because I don't want it to get stuck. I don't add too much oil, and that's a tiny bit of a problem. Now be very careful when adding oil to an already hot pan, because it will splash at you if it's very hot. Also, I'm going to check on the vegetables at the same time. They're pretty alright. I guess I'm going to kind of drain them of the water. But they're going to taste perfectly fine, and you're getting a lot of vitamins here. You're getting your proteins, of course, you're getting all the vitamins, and carbo, wetsuits, and I didn't go to bio for college. So someone leave in the comments what this meal has. All I'm going to tell you is it's going to be around 300 calories, and this meal wouldn't cost you more than like $4 or $5 when we do the math. Now you're going to want to be careful when checking these, of course. Right now they look delicious on the bottom. I don't know if you can see the zoom in, that delicious salmon meat. You shouldn't check too much, but of course for the sake of the video I'm going to do it. And I'm rambling, of course, while I actively cook this for you. Now, hopefully you're getting a lot of oil here and stuff, and you're getting a lot of nice flavor. Something I like to do maybe is add like a little bit of lemon juice. Something to give it a little zing right now, but we're not going to do that because this is an Emerald show. This is me fulfilling a childhood fantasy. Probably 200 people. This video is for all of you guys who do not know how to cook and are eating desperately and are afraid to cook and are afraid that you're going to live an unhealthy lifestyle because you don't know how to eat healthy and good. And it's perfectly understandable, but along with exercise, you gotta eat right, Just don't ask me what I've been doing in the last few days. Alright, now that we've gotten most of that cooked really dark, really nice, it's going to taste amazing. It's not going to look amazing, because again, I'm not a professional chef. And we're going to add just a little bit of oil. Now I'm pouring it on top of it so that it'll fall onto the side, because as you can see on the sides, from the sides, we're not necessarily getting all of the pink out quite yet. Now all the stuff that's melting on the side, it's fish fat. That's good fat. Don't make fun of it. Don't shame it. We're gonna just keep checking a little more often about the condition of our delicious salmon. Now, it's not going to look like a masterpiece because, again, I'm no professional chef here. I'm just a boy who figured out how to cook healthy, cheap, and wanted to share the secrets with the world. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to just spot check, make sure everything's cooked on the side. Right now, we're still not there. But what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to take a fork and check the surface for a flaky texture, as if you were about to eat it. And if you've never eaten salmon, you're just going to want to have like barely any resistance. It's going to want to feel like something you can eat. Now our stir fry is pretty much done. It's not much of a stir fry because we pretty much baked it or steamed it. Of course, you're going to want to be very careful with a very hot pan. What you want to do is deliver it safely to your sink and angle it away from you as you pour the water. After I strained a bit of our vegetables, we ended up with something that's pretty saucy, looks good, tastes pretty darn good, and isn't even expensive. Not to mention, since it's vegetables, it's automatically the healthiest thing you could ever eat ever. Once we drained our vegetables out for any excess liquid that we didn't want, we pretty much had a very inexpensive meal, and it was cheap, of course, very healthy, and now we just got to make sure it tastes good. You can definitely taste not only the pepper, but like the flavor of garlic. There's a lot of smoothness, but there's crust formed from the salt and pepper, and our sriracha just gives it a little bit of a kick. As for the vegetables, they're also pretty good too. They're fresh, they're cheap, and you don't really get tired of them because we mixed in so much soy sauce, and we could have added much more. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you guys also enjoy cooking. It's a really important skill that I think more guys and gals should have, especially because it's important for losing weight, for gaining weight, of course, and keeping healthy. And of course, you can always impress somebody else. Why not make them lunch or dinner? I also really want to thank you guys for subscribing to my channel for music, of course. It's been almost 4 years of crazy music making and meeting amazing people, creating albums, CDs, raising thousands of dollars for charity, helping people learn how to create music itself. And I'm just indebted to all of you awesome guys. So thank you all. Thank you Blue Star Mako for providing the ideas as well as the knife set and sriracha powder. And thank you guys all on Twitter and Facebook for giving me the ideas. And I really hope you guys subscribe for some more music. You're going to be hearing some crazy cool metal stuff coming up. Like, comment, subscribe.